After taking the ferry from the mainland to the island of Sicily, our first stop was the city of Taormina. We just saw some Norman architecture there, but practice makes perfect. Anyway, the gem of the city, which was built by the Greeks, is an ancient Greek amphitheater, which is set out, built into a hillside. The Romans built their amphitheaters in the middle of the cities, but the Greeks liked to build them in spectacular natural settings. So, if you got a little bored by the play Antigone or whatever it was being performed on stage, you could always look up and get a spectacular view of the ocean and mountains. We had hoped to be able to drive or climb up Mount Etna, which is another one of Italy's active volcanoes, but as you can see it was a bit too snowy. But the weather in Syracuse was perfect, even though it was almost Christmas. So we settled in the lovely island part of the city known as Ortygia, which is the oldest part of Syracuse, and has some truly lovely streets and places to wander about and get lost. The Piazza del Duomo, or the Cathedral Square, has a lot of lovely old Baroque buildings, and as you can see is lit up with a Christmas tree. Or at least the outside of the buildings is Baroque. We went inside the church for a terrific concert of Sicilian music, and looking at those pillars began to realize this is not a Baroque church after all. This is an ancient Greek temple. And lo and behold, after doing some reading, it turned out to be the Temple of Athena, built 500 years BC, and later converted into a church. Leaving the coast behind us, we entered the center of Sicily, where you have some lovely valleys, green, verdant, full of life, surrounded by dry, barren hills, and a lot of isolated farms like this one. Apparently there still is a lot of mafia activity in these parts of Italy, but if you're in a quiet Sicilian town on a Sunday afternoon, you'd never really know it. Everything seems very peaceful. It's almost as though you'd traveled back 20 years or so. Whoa! What was that? Let's get out of here. In the small town of Piazza Armerina in central Sicily is the Villa Romana del Casale, which has the most remarkable mosaics of any Roman villa that I've ever seen. And who would have thought that the Romans invented both the bikini and beach volleyball? Unbelievable. You learn something new every day. After dealing with some typical Sicilian traffic, we found ourselves in Agrigento, a city that was founded by the Greeks on the southwestern part of the Sicilian coast. It's a truly stunning series of about 10 or 11 temples. All of these temples are in a remarkable state of preservation. There's nothing quite like them in the world, and in fact there's nothing quite like them in Greece. This temple complex is also a testament to how widespread ancient Greek or Hellenistic civilization was. It spread throughout much of the Mediterranean, including modern-day Turkey, and also much of coastal Italy. The temple complex is absolutely stunning at night. Our final stop in Sicily was Palermo, which, well, reminded us a lot of Mexico. It's rather noisy, crowded, and much poorer than the north. Well, I guess things can't get much fresher than that. Palermo is actually an interesting city because it was the headquarters of the Normans who ruled this area for quite a while, and also has an awful lot of Arab influence because the Arabs ruled this area also for a while. Yeah, if you could get rid of that truly awful traffic, it might actually be a very pleasant city to visit. As I said, it is quite interesting. This is the Norman Palace. This is the area from which the Normans, who used to be Vikings, ruled Sicily. There you see some very nice mosaics and once again some Arabic influence. The different cultures in Sicily are represented by these inscriptions, Latin, now Greek, and finally the beautiful Arabic script. Eventually, the Arabs were forced to leave Sicily, just as we are going to leave Sicily tomorrow and go back to Bologna, and from there to the Netherlands to celebrate Christmas and New Year's, and then back to our home in the United States after a lovely 4 or 5 months in Italy.